I suppose I'd like to start with when you look back on a year ago, what are your strongest memories of the mission? What has really stuck with you over the last 12 months?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for this opportunity. And I think it's hard to believe, first of all, it has been a year since we splashed down into the ocean. And yeah, we've done a lot. But talking about memories, I think it's just like a child when they try something new for the first time. It's engraved memory. So I remember the first experience in weightlessness and the first look down to Earth, and then maybe the first meal, the first shower, or so-called bath shower, and or the towel shower. All of these are totally engraved in my memory, and I would love to go once again over there. I got asked so many times about whether I would love to go back, and the answer is always yes.
I actually remember reading somewhere that astronauts often, when they return to Earth, especially if they've been up in space for as long as 6 months, like you were, they forget that gravity exists. Did you ever let go of a cup, expecting it just to float in front of you for it to crash to the floor?
Yeah, indeed. I think I've done it twice. It was days when I returned. I think on the second day or so, I think I was trying to trash a cup of coffee, and expecting that it would float towards the bin, but it fell shortly. Another thing, I was trying to wear my T-shirt, and just like in this station, we would throw it in the air, and then we put our hands in, and that failed as well. But yeah, that was only in the initial days of our return.
So you get the hang of gravity and Earth quite quickly. You know, you've got that muscle memory, I suppose, from all your previous years on Earth. I mean,
Uh,
was there a highlight of the trip for you?
Um, Again, there are so good memories when you go up there and try things for the first time. But I would say the crown jewel of the mission was doing EVA and going out the airlock to the vastness of space and doing maintenance and working for 7 hours outside the station. So I do remember when I came back and we were repressing the airlock. It was a sense of joy, sense of fulfillment, and they give us like 1 minute or so to give some good remarks about the mission and how it went. So I think that was one of the deepest, I would say, psychologically sort of saying, when you do the mission and you feel the fulfillment. I think it was so emotional. I was giving some remarks and thanking everybody who helped me being there and conducting the mission.
I have to say, I think for many people on Earth, the moment that you did that spacewalk was the moment that everyone realized that you weren't just an astronaut, but you were a really good astronaut, because only certain people get to choose to do those spacewalks. You know, it's an extra privilege. So it's a real mark of distinction to have done that. So I'm not surprised that in many ways that was a highlight.
Yeah, thank you so much. And one moment in that, let's say, period is when I heard the mission control and the people in charge of the mission. They were saying, "Hey, Sultan, congratulations on conducting the mission, and welcome to the elite club." So indeed, yeah, you're in a position where only few people did that, and I was really happy and proud to be representing the country and the nation in that EVA.
Yeah, it was a very, very big deal. Now, one of the reasons why astronauts are so brave is not just because you go to space, which I've had lots of people on the radio that say the thing is with space is it's always trying to kill you. And so it's not just that, you're not just brave for going up there, but because we do know that spending time in space does have an impact on your body, and potentially a lasting impact on your body. What have you noticed just in the last year?
So luckily we go to space after so many years of experiments. So many astronauts went to space, and obviously they are monitored and they've been tested on many things. So it does have an impact. You lose bone density, you lose body mass, you are hammered by radiation. So all of these are controlled, but we have to do some countermeasures. We take some medications, and we do regular exercise, so 2.5 hours of physical exercise. So all of these can probably make it easier for you to come back to Earth and then start your normal life again. But personally, I was lucky to, first of all, reach space with no motion sickness, which could be it's totally subjective. Even if you're a pilot or you're an athlete or anything, it could hit you. But I was lucky enough to like arrive to this station and experience the microgravity for the first time with no issues. But upon return, because we splashed down in the ocean, and we had that night we had high waves, and I stayed for 60 minutes inside the capsule. It wasn't comfortable, and the whole vehicle was wobbly, and yeah, the sensation coming from space, your ears, the inner vestibular system is disconnected, and then now you're here, your ears are trying to do their normal work, your brain is messed up. So all of that was not comfortable, and I stayed again in the capsule for 60 minutes. Then they pulled us on the ship, the recovery ship, and then we were on a helicopter for 14 minutes ride, and then on a jet plane to Arlington Field in Ellington Field in Houston. So all of that was really tiring, and luckily, just like when we arrived to the station and we quickly accommodate, the same thing happened to us. We started doing the exercise right from the second day, and it was tiring, but the recovery was quicker. So we were getting better by the hour. But luckily, again, because of all these countermeasures, the training, the medication, the regular monitoring in our bodies, and our flight surgeons are also helping. So I think we were able to recover. I think it took me 3 weeks to come back to normal and starting to run normally.
How about getting back to normal in family life? Because we all know what it's like when someone's been away traveling, even for a couple of weeks, you get into your own patterns. I mean, I remember I used to work late every single night. And then the few evenings that I would actually be at home, my husband would be a bit like, but I have control of the TV. Like, I want to watch what I want to watch on the TV. What was it like getting back into family life?
Well, first of all, it's nice to come back home, right?
Yeah.
And see family and just eat fresh food, crunchy salad, maybe something like that. One can say that you feel like a stranger because they developed their own system, right? For 6 months, the kids are going to school, the family, they're doing their own business, their timing and everything. So you kind of feel like you're a stranger for the first few days, but obviously everyone is happy, everyone is excited to have you. So I think, yeah, it took me like maybe 2-3 days to be able to maybe say I was back to normal. And talking about the timing and everything, we do suffer from jet lags when we travel for 16 hours, for example. It was a space lag again for 3 weeks or so to be back to normal.
That's very cool that you get to say space lag rather than jet lag. You're part of a very small elite group of people that have experienced that. I mean, we talked about the effects on your, your body, but how about on your mind? When you've done something as cool and as exciting as going to space, is it difficult to just get back to normal life, pedestrian stuff of going to the supermarket or just going to work in an office, for example?
Well, I think again, you come back as a stranger. I was up there for 6 months with only 7 people, 3 Americans, 3 Russians, and myself. We did talk to everybody, obviously. We had all the means of communications, email, video calls, normal calls, and we did a lot of PR and outreach. But physically, to be back on Earth, again, as you mentioned, you talk to different people. Yeah, it felt really weird in the first few days that you hear so many different voices. Everybody wants a piece of you. They want an interview. They want to talk to you. They want to ask about the experience overall. And I do understand that, but yes, it was a lot in the first few days that you need to talk to so many people rather than maximum of 6. Now you're talking to everybody. Everybody's excited, and you also, I think, saw the great reception we had from the top leadership in the UAE, and then like we've done like a cultural celebration in my hometown. So it was really overwhelming, but again, we're human. We can adapt. So I think by the first month or so, I think it was normal to me.
And you don't miss it. You know, you don't have a sort of, when you wake up in the morning and just look out of your normal window and then go and do your normal sort of outreach work and all the work that you're doing, obviously now as one of the ministers, essentially. Do you ever think, gosh, life on Earth is a bit boring?
Some parts of it, honestly, just looking down to Earth from the cupola, which is the largest window on board the station, and just seeing the whole Earth within 92 minutes. You're seeing all the oceans, mountains, deserts, and forests, and good places that you visited, and you try to spot them with your big camera lens. So all of these, I think, things that I want to go back and experience: the weightlessness, the childhood dream, doing all sorts of fun things, working as one team on board the International Space Station. All of these, I think, the good fun, the good time that we do miss. I don't miss obviously having a cold shower, or maybe just eating one type of food. Yeah, I remember towards the end of the mission, I was only swallowing. I didn't even enjoy the food because we were only 6 months. Even if you try the best kind of food for 6 months, you would get bored of it. So that I don't miss, obviously. But yeah, going there, the spirit of the team, trying different things every day. Yeah, I do miss that indeed.
Has it changed your perspective? There's people have studied astronauts and your psychology, you know, because it's such an extraordinary thing to do. And there's a suggestion that having been up really high, you have a unique perspective on Earth. And that's often a very eco-friendly attitude. You suddenly see the value and the preciousness of the planet. Is that something that's affected you?
Well, Georgia, we go to space to explore, right? We think about going to different planets, and maybe one day we have a habitat, or maybe start a civilization over there. But seriously, we do look down to Earth from that vantage point, and we think this is our mothership. It's habitable. It's already here. We have all the resources. So let's also focus on it. Let's sustain life on it for the next generations. And you go up there and you see we're only protected by a very thin layer of atmosphere. And I think it's you think to yourself, this is really vulnerable. And we can see a lot of phenomena from there. We see wildfire. We see a huge sandstorm. We saw sometimes pollutions over some crowded cities. So yeah, we think to ourselves, why don't we protect it? Why don't we sustain life on Earth even better? And we work collectively. And I always say that we're up there working as a family from different nations and different backgrounds. And if it's applicable up there, it's definitely applicable in here. And up there, we do everything, and it's really costly in terms of generating electricity, generating our own oxygen, our own water as well. And I leave it to your mind to imagine where that water is coming from. Because we say the coffee of today is coffee of tomorrow. So all of these are done up there, and we're also showcasing the technology that are sustaining life on Earth, in space. So we can do all these technologies and utilize them here on Earth and sustain life for the next generation. So definitely, let's work collectively with every nation on the planet to make this happen.
Now, obviously, since you've returned to Earth, big things have happened for you, even bigger. You know, you've become a minister, and you've obviously an excellency, and you've been feted around the country, and rightly so. What is next, though, for you now?
Well, as we always say that we're let's say bringing the bar higher every time we do something extraordinary. So we're thinking forward to even further missions into space. So as you may know, the UAE is the 5th member now of a very ambitious program. It's called the Lunar Gateway, or the Artemis. So I would love to maybe one day just be part of that mission, going even closer to the moon and beyond. So our program is still active. I'm still active, regardless of my other duties, but still wearing the blue suit. So I would definitely love to go back to space, either the ISS or maybe one day to the Lunar Gateway.
Amazing. Absolutely fantastic stuff. And thank you. I know you have a very busy schedule, so thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us here on Dubai Eye 103.8 today. It's been fantastic chatting to you.
Thank you so much. And as always, it's nice to talk to you, Georgie. Thanks.
Dubai Eye 103.8.
Join the conversation.